All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mad Run Creations is out here at the Bad Apple Garage checking out the progress on the 73 F100 short bed. As you can see, factory short bed, no cutting down on this one. So this is, in case anybody doesn't know, this is a 73 F100 short bed sitting on a 2009 Crown Vic chassis and drivetrain. So, which is what we specialize over here, Midnight Run Creations and Bad Apple Garage. But this one's going to the next level. On this one, I know it's been a long time since we've looked at anything with this one, but so we've got center hump. Let's start at the back on this one. Here is our rear hump. As you can see, this one is going to be a whole lot smaller than all the other ones because if you can't tell, for those of you that have done this, you'll see this right away. But those that haven't, no Crown Vic gas tank right here. So we have a F-150 gas tank that's back here underneath in between the frame rails. So that makes this little hump in here really small. All you got to do is notch it over for the rear suspension, nothing for the gas tank and everything with it. So, and there's a big pile of wires. That's actually all the extra wires from what we'll show you of the Ron Francis wiring harness. So let's walk around. We'll go over here to the inside of the cab. A little bit on this side. We'll probably pop over to the other side to see a little bit better. But so yeah, all factory looking on the inside. We have the factory truck column in there. So it looks all nice. Some of the wiring, as you see, hanging down with it. So hard to see on this side. Let's pop over to the other side. Easier to see everything. Walking around. There we go. It's about easier to see. Power windows have been added in on this one. The customer did it before we even got it. We have what appears at first glance to be the factory gauge cluster, except for, if you notice, wait a minute, there's black. There's no gauges in it. But if we click this over, check it out. We have the Intelletrix gauge cluster in this truck. Oil, fuel, temp, volts, speedometer, RPM, everything is in here just like it would be from the factory, but it just plugs in. So it's definitely an interesting gauge cluster. I'll go over that probably later on stuff. I made another video of it so that we can post it so we can refer to Intelletrix. So definitely different, definitely up there in price and stuff on it, but makes for a nice, smooth, cool look. No Crown Vic gauge cluster sitting inside of here like all the other ones we've done. Gonna have the truck column and stuff into it, the stock ignition, yeah, everything's all here with it. So and as I said, this has the Ron Francis wiring harness in it. We are utilizing the Crown Vic AC system. It's back underneath in the dash and stuff here. Works out really well, got all drilled in. The Ron Francis gives us the OBD2, so we got that all in. And then let me pull back this back seat here. Maybe if I can do this one-handed, excuse the horrible camera. So there she is back there. There is the ECU and the wiring bank for the Ron Francis wiring harness. You even have the surgical switch in there as well too, so everything's run back and wired through and pinned on across on those. So just wire by wire, kind of like the color by number coloring books that we had as kids. This is wire by number. And then along with that, I did get, because it is standalone, we got the programmer from Marty, from Marty's Speed Shop. This thing's badass. Customer support has been insane. We do have a little bit of hiccups with this thing and the fuel module not working. The fuel pump works and everything. We got that to run. We did bypass so that the fuel kicks on and stuff with it. It does fire over. But for some reason right now we're having problems with the fuel module not being engaged. So we're still working on that part of it. But yeah, Marty gave us that. So, and talked to him. So this is Sunday. So we just had Christmas or 2 days after. So yesterday was Saturday. We were actually on the phone with Marty going through customer support. So how is that for some sick, badass customer support for a guy the day after Christmas is answering the phone and helping you go through stuff? So I cannot swear by him enough. We'll see once everything goes. We'll still need to do some fine tuning and stuff on it, but he's ready, excited to go with it. So like I said, Ron Francis saddle engine harness in the engine bay, which we'll look at, and then the body. God, this thing was just hacked up majorly. Originally, this truck was sitting on like a 80s, 90s F-150 with the inline six and manual transmission, which ran really great and stuff with it. They just did a total hack job of putting it together. I mean, the pedals, you couldn't even get full throttle because they weren't set up right. They were hitting the floor. It's just super ghetto and just it's horrible. The customer did not like it, and it just it wasn't working. So, but come to find out, the wiring harness was all hacked up and stuff too. So we got a universal body harness onto it for kind of a truck. So there's definitely some wiring that need to be done with it, but not necessarily all plug and play and ready to roll with it. So we have to do wiring. That's what you see down here is all the wiring. So, but it is all factory stuff. So the high beam, low beam, the headlight switch, the ignition as I showed, the lights, all that stuff's in. And my partner went through and made plugs for everything too onto it, and even for the Intelletrix gate cluster, because that's just bare wire at the back. So what he did was put MLX plugs so you can plug it in. So it's actually a lot easier to pull that gauge assembly out, do any work or do any adjustments or anything like that with it too. This does have the fly-by-wire, so there's our bracket system for that, so that the pedal sits we're supposed to be doing. We are using the factory brake assembly from it, which we'll see here. In fact, let's pop the hood and take a look at under the hood with the brake system and everything else. Again, excuse me for doing this one-handed. Oh, look at that, it actually worked. Cool. So here we are. This is what it looks like, the Ron Francis wiring harness, all stripped down. Batteries in the factory spot. Got a nice breaker emergency shutoff there for it. Everything is all factory with it. We're even using the map sensor. Marty does have to do some tuning because we're using a cold air intake system and stuff on it. Here is the booster and hydraulic booster assembly and stuff from Battleborn Brakes. That's located here in Battleground, Amboy, Washington. I'll probably include a link to there for their kind of stuff, because we've got, you can kind of see it back there, their bracket system that mounts. This is a Super Duty brake booster assembly and stuff, and the proportion valve is separate from it. That is aftermarket, just kind of a general proportioning valve for having, you know, disc and disc all the way around and stuff onto it. This did, my partner did go through and run new brake lines through everything. Don't necessarily have to do that. It's just that that was something we're doing for this truck. But yeah, Battleborn has this brake booster assembly and hydro boost, as well as that bracket assembly that's back there as well too with it. Of course, the truck steering column, as I showed you, is in. So we have the linkage that hooks it up to the Crown Vic gearbox down below with it and stuff. So and that's all on the Facebook pages and stuff. That's the parts you can get from, I think, like Amazon and stuff like that. So but yeah, everything runs through. We got the factory lighting here and in the rear for it. Like I said, we used all that from that universal harness and from the original truck stuff with it. But yeah, there's our AC and heat is all plugged in using the Crown Vic stuff with it. But yeah, everything's pretty straightforward onto it. Pretty slick, pretty cool. Oops. Close it all the way. But yeah, so there she is. There's the front side. Of course, we have the full grill assembly and everything else with it. But yeah, that's what she looks like. Looking pretty slick. Pretty slick and pretty cool. And then he actually picked up, over here on the red side, a Ranger. 70, 71, I can't remember what. I think 70, running the grill and stuff onto it. But yeah, this thing's a sweet little time capsule. This is something we'll go through it in here just a bit. This is the more of the focus, the 73, the Black Beauty. So yeah, we're trucking along, got it to fire, so get that fuel module issue straightened out, and then it'll be ready for some test driving and some tuning from Marty via the internet and stuff. Like I said, I cannot so far rave well enough for him, but yeah, there's Black Beauty getting rock and rolling. Customer's going to be doing a rear hump in this thing. He's got somebody that's going to do, like the Chevys do, just a big hump that goes from one wheel well to the next and stuff onto it. But it's nice and clean. Yeah, and that's the extra. I mean, this thing, Ron Francis gives you miles and miles of wiring and stuff on it. You're running everything separate. There's bags of it and everything else too. So definitely a spendy kit. It's yeah, well over $1,000, like $1,300, somewhere around that with it. So yeah, it's definitely up there. So, but it's fully independent and stuff on it too. So, but we'll look at that in a later video. Just wanted to get some updates on this truck too. So nice seat and stuff on it. They're do some headliner custom stuff. We're gonna get a red dash pad and everything for it. So yeah, there she is. So all right, we'll see y'all in the next video. Whoa.